Welcome to Black Sheep. Come on in. Hi there. I'm Nancy from Black Sheep Knitting. We're here in downtown bustling Needham. I don't even know how many people live here, 20,000 or more? Well, I don't know. In any case, we are a local yarn shop and we have a lot of classes. I think we have 10 classes a week, so we teach a lot of knitting here. And from spring until fall, we have crochet on Saturdays. I think 2 crochet classes. So if any of you are interested, our crochet teacher, Maureen, will be back in April. So that's coming up. And she teaches every other Saturday. And last season, we had enough for a Saturday morning and a Saturday afternoon. Her Saturday afternoon is kind of a stable group. They've been together for a number of years, and it's probably full, but she is taking people for the morning class. So you can call the shop, we can put you on a list for when she comes back, and she'll take beginners through whatever stage you are. Wanted to talk about a couple of things coming up in April. On April 5th, which I believe is a Sunday, we're doing again, which we did last year, Knit for Food. So it's like a 12-hour marathon. We're not doing a 12-hour marathon. We're going to be open in the afternoon, probably 1 to 3 or 4, something like that. And you'll come in and knit, but you need to make a donation to Knit for Food. And now I blanked on all the organizations it benefits, but it's No Child Goes Hungry, it's World Central Kitchen, Feed America. I can't remember, but you can look it up. But a lot of money has gotten raised, and I think last year was overall $379,000. Not by us, but throughout all the people who participated. So they're trying to reach that goal again. So we'd love to have you come in. Maybe we'll have some special things here. I don't know, but that's April 5th. And then April, my mind is a sieve today, 26th or 27th is Local Yarn Shop Day. And we'll have some special things going on there. I don't know, sale or gift surprises or games. I haven't thought that through, but just to give you a heads up. We have some new yarns in the shop. And the first one is a beautiful yarn from Noro, and we think it's called Saloon. S-A-L-U-N. No, it's an L. And it's made of,
I have to fix what I did.
oops, it's 70% wool and 30% polyamide. And what drew me to it, first of all, the colors. If you look, you can look inside the skein and see the colors in there. This is typical gorgeous Noro yarn. And those colors. And one thing they've done with Noro in the last several years, if you remember Curion, which is an old Noro yarn, it was always kind of rough. Well, they've softened this. And here's another colorway. Again, you can see here the amazing colors. But what drew me into it was a pattern called Alexia. Looks like it's crocheted, but it's knit. And it incorporates, do they use 2 colors for this? Or maybe just 1. That's interesting. And this is a scarf. It's worked flat with slipped stitches. And they're calling this a DK. I was reading it as sort of a worsted DK, but I guess they're advertising it as DK. And it said this is self-striping, and they used a single slip stitch pattern alternating 2 rows of 2 different colors. And it creates these beautiful, as you'll see in the, again, in the beautiful pattern. And when I looked at this, and if you can see here, this is actually the scarf. It's quite wide. But I thought, wouldn't that make a great poncho? So you could do like the easy folded poncho from Church Mouse Yarns, that is just, you just make it wider, and you know, you cast on about 50 stitch. No, you knit it for 50 inches and then sew a seam, and you would get this a gorgeous fun poncho. And there are a lot of other things you could do with it, but I just love the bright striking colors of this yarn. So we got 3 colorways, and it'll be on the website. You can see that. We also got, we kind of had a need for another, we have Ultra Alpaca, which is a non-superwash worsted weight, but I felt like we needed another one that was just 100% wool. So I got the Ella Rae Classic Wool, and one thing that drew me to it, again, because I'm a color person, were the colors. And they're in these skeins, and I think it's reasonably priced at $11, 219 yards. And I'll show you the colors. This one is called Night Rider. This is a almost black, but kind of heathered charcoal gray. Anyway, I think it's gorgeous. And boy, can you imagine a colorwork sweater with some of these colors with a black. But anyway, I'll show you the others. This one is a teal. This is also heathered, so there's some other color running through it. And this is just a pure red. Now we have a lot of, because a lot of patterns now are calling for mohair to drag along. And someone in this morning's class was using a red yarn like this with red mohair, and it was just really beautiful. And this one's called Deep Cove Blue. And you'll see these are very close. This is called Twilight. Wow. They're not the same.
No, they're not,
but they're very close. So you wouldn't want to confuse those. This one is called Cream, which is a very nice creamy white. And then this kind of, I was going to say rosy color, and it's called Dusty Rose. I love this color because it's pink, but it's not baby pink. And this, I also, when I saw this, I said, I need to make something in this. This one is called Gold. And this also has, I don't know, it's heathered. It's got kind of greeny, orangey tones in it. So there's a lot of depth to these heathered ones. And this one's called Plum Island. Ooh, that is gorgeous. I could see a sweater in that too. And finally, this one's called Soft Brick. It's kind of a wine, oops, piece of hay in here. Oops, wow, look at that. Piece of something from the farm, from whence it came. So you get part of it didn't get gleaned from the process. Anyway, these colors together I think are beautiful, and if you're wanting to do a colorwork sweater or scarf or something, these would be the ticket. So I recommend those. Another new yarn that we got, which is, we have Rasta, which is very similar. This is, which is from Malabrigo. But we also got from Manos, this is called Franca. And it is a superwash, super bulky merino. And this has 114 yards in it. And I wanted to try this because I wanted to see the Rasta, which I love, love, love. But in a sweater, it sometimes pills quite a bit, and so you have to use a gleaner on it a lot. So So I wondered if this superwash would do the same thing. So I decided to take a chance on it. So this one's called Duende. Look at that. Purples and aqua. Really fun. And this one is called Bayou. Isn't that pretty? So much color in it, and if somebody said to you, you know, well, I'm going to put green with this pinky color or yellow color, you'd probably say, ugh. But I think it's gorgeous. And this is quartz. A lot of speckles in there. And this one, when I saw it, I thought, oh, did you really order this? But then I looked at her for a while and I thought, I think I'd like a sweater in that. It's called Black Pepper. Look at all the color with the black. I think it would knit up really cool in a sweater. And there is a sweater that I like in a super bulky. It's called Kingston, which if any of you are wanting to do a sweater with these yarns, and these are so soft. I can't even tell you how soft this is. This one's called Algas. And there's a lot of really gorgeous color in that. And finally, this one is called Aquarium. I guess that suits it. So, I wanted to, so they're here in the shop and they'll be online. I wanted to just grab this. I wanted to show you something that I decided to do. Well, first I have this yarn which is called Millstone Tweed, and it's wool, polyamide, and viscose. It is so soft for a tweedy yarn. It feels like it has cashmere or something in it, which it doesn't. So I originally was going to do this is called Building Blocks Cardigan. I was going to do the vest. And then I thought, that doesn't do this justice. It's just not a good idea. So I've abandoned that. And instead, I chose to make a vest. And this is called CP01 Slipover. Very catchy name. From Minimi Knit Design, I believe. So it's just a simple V-neck vest, and I think that speaks to me, these colors with this vest. And I have been wanting to make a vest, partly because sometimes I get tired of making sleeves, and partly because they're kind of cool these days. So that's an upcoming project for me. And it's a 16 stitch gauge. So on a size, what did I use? I did a gauge, and I used a size 8 needle. But depending on how you knit, you could be on a 7 or a 9. So don't forget to do your gauge, folks. And then finally, I wanted to talk about what I'm wearing and what I'm doing. I was at Rhinebeck this past year, and I saw a woman sitting selling her yarn, and she had on this sweater that I just thought was really pretty. And if I can dig up the picture, I'll have Robin post it. But I had done this sweater that I'm wearing Evendoon, and the pattern was just like this. This is Kate Davies' pattern, and I love her patterns. So I had done it with a fingering, a blue with a navy blue mohair. For the life of me, I can't quite remember what the fingering was that I did. Goodness gracious.
It's on one of the
It's on one of the videos. I can't remember anything these days. But anyway, I liked it, and I like the way it fits me. so I thought, oh, maybe I could do this. I have this yarn, and I thought, well, why don't I try it? So I had this yarn that I bought at, to take a step back, the woman that I saw had this sweater on that I really liked, and it was this yarn, and I'll show it to you, and I'm just in love with the way this is coming out. But what she had done is the cuffs, the band around the neck and down the front, and the band at the bottom were done in white. So I looked around the shop and I found the sueño, and I'm going to do the sueño with it. Can't see this very well. Wait a minute, maybe I can stretch it out just a little bit. But I'm just in love with the way this works up. And the yarn is it's a hand dyed that you can't get. It was at, but this shows you what you can do with a speckled yarn. You know, you often wonder how's it going to come out. So this is what it looks like in the skein, in the ball. So when they dye it, they just either sprinkle dry dye all around the skein, or they splatter or something. But the way I've done it is I've just taken little bits of the powdered dye and dropped it around. Now I know my second skein doesn't look quite like this, but that's okay with me. I don't care if it changes. But this is, you know, simple raglan. But yeah, Robin has some skeins here that will show you. These skeins, and I might do a little more on this in another episode, but things like this. Here's one that especially would work up. Though this one has a lot more white in it than these do. These have a little bit more color. But you get the idea. It has little bits of color. Here's another one. These are from Cowgirl Blues. And they're just, I like them a lot because there's a lot of interest in there and a lot of color. And I'm going to pick out, the woman that had this on had a beautiful, I want to say it was one of the colors in here, kind of a goldish brown, I can't remember, button, but the buttons were gorgeous and they just made the whole thing. So, you know, here's some examples of what you can do with these multicolored speckled type. Look at that one. These are Allegria, these ones I just showed you, and this is a superwash and polyamide blend, and soft as can be. So they would be really fun. So I'm excited to I want to get this going so I can start the vest. But here's an example of what you can do with a pattern. So here's just this plain pattern, the even dune, and you can take it, and the way I made it the first time is putting two yarns together. This time I'm doing a single yarn, but I'm changing all the bands on it.
So this would be a DK?
Yep. This is a DK. She advertised it as a worsted, but when I did my gauge, it really came out as a DK. So there's also a lesson. Everybody has a different definition of worsted and DK and Aran, and so you really always want to go by stitches per inch. So I call DK 22 over 4 inches, but somebody else might call it something else. So really always go by the stitches per inch. So I'm very excited about getting this one finished. There are just too many fun things to do, but I could also take this same pattern. I could make it cropped, I could make it longer, I could make it striped. If you remember back, there was a striped, this is top down. So I started from here, then I'll go back up here and up to the top and pick up stitches and do the band. You could also do, you could do different kinds of bands. You can do a ribbing that is 2 by 2 or 1 by 1, or how about 3 by 1 or 2 by 1. So you can fool around and take one pattern if it fits you well and you like it, and you can just, you know, use your imagination a little bit. Look around, look and see what other people have done. That's the wonderful thing about Ravelry is that you can go onto any pattern on Ravelry, and then you look at the projects that have been done in that pattern, and it's eye-opening because you can really get a sense. You can get a sense of how it looks on people. Don't judge it by one person, but look at several people, and you can see, does this sweater look good on people, or does this hoodie or hood, whatever you're making, look good? You can also see the different color choices that people made, the variations, and you'll see lots of them. I mean, people taking long-sleeved sweaters and making them short-sleeved, or short-sleeved sweaters and making them long-sleeved. And you can read, people often put notes with what the projects that they put up, and you can read what they have to say. Don't look at across the top, don't look at where it's comments. You look at each person's post and what they've said about the what they did with the pattern. Projects. Yeah, look at projects. So I think that's all I have for today. It's been cold here in New England, so it's been wonderful to sit inside and be warm and knit. I hear the weather may change a little bit, but it's brutal here, and it's icy as all get out. So people are very worried about falling, and so be careful if you go outside. And happy knitting. I'll see you next time. Bye.